Hey, this is Frank Yoso, franklyrealty.com and creator of Frankly MLS, and I want to do a video to go over a recent email request that I got from one of my clients, and it also helps to address another email that I got today from someone that says, I don't need no stinking realtor. I can find tons of data on Zillow and Frankly MLS. Frankly MLS gives me all this data. I don't need a realtor. Even though I created that site to give people as much data as possible, I just want to show you that that is just the tip of the iceberg of the stuff that's out there. If I could get you more stuff on Frankly MLS, I would, and I'm still always trying to do that. But here's a question someone asked me, and maybe this will help people better understand what a good realtor can do, how they can provide a value above and beyond their commission. Because if you don't provide value beyond your commission, then it's not, I wouldn't be in business. It's not as much of a scam as some people might think, and the true negotiators, this person is a very shrewd negotiator, the true negotiators know the value of having a separate person negotiating and also a separate person representing them, someone that might be doing this on a daily basis and might have some tips that can save you well beyond the commission. So he was asking about this property in Reston. It's a short sale, $1.1 million. Let me just give you like an example of my quick analysis on it. Some of the stuff you can do yourself, but you might have been like, oh, well, I hadn't thought of that. So yes, this video, you might learn something and might use those tools, but there will be 100 other things that I can't explain in 100 videos. So he was asking about this property, saying, hey, it's only been on the market for 30 days. What are the chances, that they'll take, $100,000, $150,000 lower? Normally, that's not a question that I can just do easily off the cuff. But this one, here's how I analyzed it. The agent has not done a short sale, closed a short sale previously. So that triggers in my head it's going to be more difficult to close, which is fine because this client is patient, and those are by far the best deals if you can get them to close. But when you have an agent that's inexperienced, the game changes completely. Because they're inexperienced, they oftentimes will misprice the property. So if a property is mispriced by $100,000 or $200,000, I don't care what the listing agent is asking for the property. That's irrelevant. All that matters is what the bank is going to accept. And the bank is usually looking between 80 to 85% of fair market price. Regardless of if they put $2 million into the property, it's worth $1 million now, they don't look at that. It's like a church and state, different department. They look at what is it worth right now and can they get between 80 and 85%. So quick snapshot, I looked at the tax assessment and the sold. I did a sold spreadsheet for the zip code, and normally I don't use tax assessment too much, but for a quick snapshot on a zip code by zip code basis, because it'll change drastically based on the city, I saw that I did a search for the zip code and short sale and sold, and I saw one of the columns that have percentage of original price and a percentage of tax assessment, analyzed that and saw that there were many properties that were selling short sales well below $100,000, $150,000 below short sale, below the tax assessment, while this property was only 10, 20, 50 grand below tax assessment. So that just quickly showed that it was way too high. So then I looked at the listing had no photos, so it's a big pain in the neck. The client would have to take a day off of work to get out there to look at it. So then what I did is I looked at the comps on the street, something again that you guys can do on Frankly MLS. But one of the homes that sold, well, this home only had one photo, but the home that sold only had one photo. It's not going to really help you see what's inside of the house. So what I did was I went into that listing and went into the back-end MLS database, stuff that you're not allowed to have access to or I'm not allowed to post on Frankly MLS. And what I found was a couple of these properties that were similar were withdrawn, and the withdrawn listing still had a photo album of 30 photos. So I was able to pull that up, send it to them and say, hey, this is basically what the property is going to look like because they're built in the same year, just to give you a quick, is this something that you want to pursue? Another thing that I did was I looked up the owner. In the back-end MLS database that we have, we can search tax records based on the owner. Saw that this person owns 4 other properties. That sets up a red flag that says when you own multiple properties, the bank's going to be more difficult in allowing a short sale because they think that you're an investor and you're hiding money in different properties. So I looked up those different properties, looked to see if any of those were for sale. They're not. I found one of the properties had a co-owner, then looked up that property, looked to see if that one had been for sale, and kind of just Sherlock Holmes, looking continuously for data that might give some insight. So for the most part, that's it. just want to give you some idea of what we do. If we don't provide value, I wouldn't be in business. It's not like this whole thing is a big scam where we're just raking in all this money without providing any value. Just people think that, oh, you just walk into a house, open the door, and write an offer. I wish it was that easy. So that's just a typical request. So email me, let me know if you have any questions. My blog is blog.franklyrealty.com. I talk more about the stuff like this. And Twitter account is at Frankly Realty is my Twitter account. And send me an email if you have any questions. All right, ciao.